releases perhaps the best strolling head on the market. Jackall revives some old school classics, and the next limited edition Respect Series color drop from Megabass is here. This is what's new this week at the Hookup Tackle. Welcome to the Hookup Tackle.
Oh, what a stud.
Yeah. Look at that.
That was sick. Cheers, my friends. Happy Sunday. All right, guys, some breaking news. What's new this week at the Hookup Tackle?
What a beautiful post-spawn fish.
Look at that.
Look at that gut on that. That's a nice fish.
Welcome back, my friends. I am Ben with the Hookup Tackle, Tackle Otaku on Instagram, being joined this fine Sunday morning by my buddy Jeffrey the King. Jeff, good to see you again, sir.
And you're back from the land of amazingness.
I am back from the land of amazingness. Thank you for holding down the fort. Thank you, Griff. Thank you to all of you. I hope you had an amazing New Year's. Jeff, how was your New Year's?
It was fantastic.
Did you party hard?
Dude, so hard. I think I went to bed at 1 o'clock.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You stayed up.
Yep.
Water was good?
Dude, it was amazing.
Cool. I figured so.
Started the year off.
Cheers, my friends. Happy Sunday. I hope you guys had an amazing New Year's. Hope you guys had an amazing holiday season. Hope 2024 is off to a incredible start for you. Let's just celebrate the beginning of a new year together.
Okay.
One more year together, Jeff. You
Another
want a beer?
one. I'm good. I already had my quota.
First rejection of 2024. Thank you, Jeff.
It felt good, didn't it?
Like old times. Like a nice, comfortable pair of socks. That's what you are to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, smell it. Let's jump into some gear. We got some amazing drops this week, and if you stick around to the end of the episode, we have a super cool giveaway as well that I will talk about here in a little bit. But let's start right here with Megabass. The next limited edition Respect Series color drop is here. This is one a lot of you guys have been dying to get your hands on. Stoked to drop it to you finally. Jeff, how about you take it away for the first introduction of 2024 new product, Megabass Respect. Here you go. All right, Jeff, first fist pump of 2024.
This color is really cool, actually.
This color's super sick.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go, guys. The next drop from Megabass is Il Mirage. Now, this is a super sick color. Let's take it out of the package. Now, if you guys are new to our channel, new to Megabass, Respect is a line of colors that Megabass does each month. Essentially, they go back through their color ring and some of their favorite colors, and they remake it and then make it again in a bunch of new baits that's never been done as kind of a one-time limited edition special color drop offering. So a lot of people like to collect these, a lot of people like to use these. Whatever you like to do with them, this is a super sick color. Now, Il Mirage was a color that was originally designed in the early 2000s, I think around 2000, 2001, somewhere in there. It was originally done in a Vibex Ultra and a Giant Dog X. Those are the only two baits that it has been done in, with the exception of, I think there was a saltwater color, or a saltwater bait that they did it as well. So first time that you're gonna see it done in a bunch of these colors. This will look semi-similar to a Respect Series color that was done a couple years back called Ill Serious. It's just kind of a take on that. So what you have is you have this kind of transparent, clear, yellowish, amber kind of body. You have this illusion paint on the back that's gonna color shift from purple to blue to green. And then you have these stripes that are actually GG. So you have that clear, transparent side, but then you get that scale flash of those stripes, that little hit of orange on the belly, and you have a color that's both transparent and natural, but it also has some flashing and color. So it's just gonna be a super versatile color no matter where you are. So let's run through these baits. Now this is a one-time offering, and this is probably the color that's been asked about the most of all the Respect Series colors that we've had over the last year. So I expect these to fly. So if this speaks to you, make sure you scoop these up. So it will be available while supplies last in the Ito Vision 110. It's in my hands. It will be available once again in the Vibration X Ultra. Looks dirty in that, doesn't it? For the first time in the Deep X 200 LBO. I've been digging the Deep X 200s in the Respect.
Yeah.
So some of the baits will have different color shifts just depending on how the bait is laid out. It looks really dirty in that one. It will be available in the Pop X, of course in the Giant Dog X. And then for the first time on these baits, the Prop Darter 80.
Really?
Yeah, interesting, right? So something that we don't see often in a Respect. This is a really cool kind of top water. You could use it as a wake. You can just cast it and wind it, and that prop will just kind of churn, but you can also kind of rip it like a devil's horse, and it'll kind of prop and then float back up. Super cool little bait. A Quiet Griffin SRX. It's available in the Pop Max. Finally available in the 110 Junior. I don't know why they don't just make everything in a 110 Junior.
Come on.
I wish they would. Flap Slap LBO, which I also think looks disgusting in that color. How about X80 Junior?
Okay.
It's cool,
Yep.
right? Nice bait finesse option there. And then the X Nanahan as I hook myself in there. You guys will get a better package than that one. Okay, so there you go. There are all the baits in the lineup of Il Mirage from Megabass, the next limited edition Respect Series color drop, available right now. All right, Jeff, let's jump over to our friends at Jackall. Now, we don't talk about Jackall that often.
We don't.
They usually do like a big launch around ICAST, and then things go kind of quiet for a little bit. But we have some really cool kind of redrops from Jackall Japan. They got so many requests to remake a bait that they hadn't made in a long time that they did a special thing called Angler's Revival.
Oh,
Okay? So, remember this guy?
Wow, that's an OG.
The baby Giron is back. Now, this is a cool little baby bluegill bait. It's 7.8 grams, 61 millimeters. I'll take it out just in case any of you are not familiar with this bait. If you guys are familiar, you're probably freaking out right now because this has not been available for quite some time, a couple of years actually, since I've seen this. This is, as far as I know, a one-time offering. We'll see if they keep it around. I think it just depends on how popular it is. But this is just a super sick, the Giron's always been a very popular kind of bluegill imitation. The baby is just so small and lifelike. This is going to be a slow sinking. Basically, you just kind of swim it in, straight retrieve. It's going to be a real tight little movement. If you give it real light little jerks, it will have a little bit of movement side to side, but keep in mind, it's a very small bait. Okay, so you don't want to overwork this. Just really light, delicate. But when those fish are on little panfish, this thing is
It kills them.
stupid. Yeah, they absolutely destroy this. No idea why this went away ever. But that's just typical Jackall, isn't it?
Yeah.
You fall in love with something, something's great, and
They
goodbye.
find out and then they take it away
Yeah,
from you.
oh, that works? Let's discontinue that. So, thank you, Jackall, for reviving it. I'm going to fly through some of the colors. I mean, there's some really natural, beautiful bluegill looking colors like this guy. There's some opposite of natural.
Even more natural.
Right. But, you know, dude, the pinks, the chartreuses, the solids are all so popular. Because different water clarities and different things. So there's a bunch of color options on there. Scoop them up if you're a fan. Those are available right now. All right, staying on small little baits and Jackall, how about a rerun of the Micro Pompaduar?
Wow.
Okay, so we get to see these about every 12 to 18 months, it feels like they do a run of these. Now the Pompaduar, without question, probably the most popular crawler style bait that I carry in the store. I feel like everybody knows the Pompaduar because of its size.
It's been around
It's
for a
relatively
while.
small. It's been around. It catches fish. Micro Pompaduar is a Japan-only release. So excited to get these back, and in a bunch of cool colors. So there's some shad colors in there. There's some, you know, like a bumblebee color. There's some blues, some bluegills. I'll just take one out just so you guys can see it. Here it goes. So there you go, little Micro Pompaduar. Let me spec it for you so you know what it is that you are looking at. It's 42 millimeters, 6.5 grams. You're basically at a 1/4 ounce, just a little micro crawler. You got the little prop in the back. You've got the 2 blades on the side. It's something you're going to just want to work very, very slow. It's got some little glass beads in there, so you're just going to get that little buggy action on the surface. Super cool, little kind of hovering right on that finesse / bait finesse realm. I think you guys will enjoy it if that speaks to you. Those are available now from Jackall. All right, and then finally from Jackall Japan, we see another revival and re-release of the Jackall Revoltage RV Lashour. Now, this is a super cool little, I'm just gonna call it a frog. It's basically a popper frog kind of hybrid here. This is in a elastomer plastic that is designed to be rigged weedless, so you can use your own hook with this guy and fish it just like a popper or just like a frog. It does have a special groove on the bottom and the top, so even though it's elastomer, your hook is going to sit right in that little hook slot right there, and you're going to get great hookup percentage, great hookup ratio. And this is just a cool little bait that not only pops, but has amazing little walk as well. Now keep in mind it's relatively small, right? It's 3.8 inches top to bottom, so lighter movements. When you look at the Jackall Japan guys and the Revoltage guys throwing this, most of them are fishing it on a spinning rod.
Oh, wow.
So spinning rod, some lighter braid, so that you can get some really good, cool movement. So kind of the theme from Jackall today is
Small.
more finesse.
Yeah.
Small and finesse, right? But there's not a lot of other options like this out there. So if this is a realm that speaks to you, there's a lot of cool colors, right? So there's anything from shrimps to reds, there's some shads in there, there's some pinks, there's all kinds of cool options in there. Super neat little topwater bait that I think you guys will catch a ton of fish on. That's the RV Lashour from Jackall. All right, Jeff, let's go the opposite direction. We played with some small, let's go more into your realm.
Okay. Some
bigger baits.
Yeah.
Okay. New to us, plus the official release of some new colors kind of worldwide here. From Gan Craft, the Ratchet 184 is available now. Now, we have them in, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 different colors, okay? This is kind of one of the newer glides, I would say, or it is the newest glide, really, from Gan Craft. You're at 180 millimeters, you're at 2.5 ounces, made in Japan. Really kind of going for more of a shad glide type profile here. So jointed claw, been one of your favorites, one of my favorites for quite some time. This is going to give us just a little bit different profile. It could be a panfish, it could be a shad, right? Just a slightly different profile. Now, you're going to notice that it has the one kind of single joint in the middle like you would expect from most glides, and then it has kind of a tighter pivot point here in the back. This bait is a pretty unique bait. They're going to come as a floater, Okay, of course you can weight them very easily with strips to make it suspend, so don't let float scare you, okay? I think by now Jeff's probably, I think we're good on the floating thing, right? I would hope so. But this is a cool bait that you can work multiple ways. You can burn it, and on the burn, it's gonna be super, super tight, okay? So it's gonna be very tight. You can also just give it really fast jerks. It's gonna stay really tight. You can fish it very slow and steady, and on a slow and steady, instead of it being a real tight movement, it's going to have just a real lazy kind of S swimming motion to it. You can also glide it. Okay, so just on a traditional, whether it's a rod tip or just a reel crank, it will glide side to side just like a traditional shad glide would. So you have lots of versatility in a really good shaped package. I mean, that's like the perfect eating size,
good size
glide bait right there. And it's light enough that you can throw on all your normal shad glide or smaller glide rod stuff. So this is one of the new colors that you're looking at. There's also kind of this cool, you know, leggy bone type color, this cool kind of Tanago shad, but there's some other really dope colors in here, from baitfish to pinks to chartreuse backs to shiny to bluegills. So take a look, the new Ratchet 184 from Gan Craft. Those are available right now. All right, Jeff, let's jump over to our friends at OSP. Big Year from OSP, OSP Dolive Beaver. Took the awards again for best-selling bait of 2023. We have some new color releases this week from OSP and quite a few baits and some restocks to let you guys know about. So one of the most effective colder water wintertime crankbaits, the Power Dunk, is back in all colors, plus we see quite a few new colors arrive in this thing. Now, the Power Dunk is designed, we've talked about this bait before, designed to essentially kind of just dunk, right? As weird as that sounds, most crankbaits are going to swim at kind of like a horizontal version like this. The dunks are designed to kind of dive straight down and basically dunk down and kind of pop off. So they're going to work more similar to kind of like a jig, where you're kind of hopping a jig off the bottom, where you're not really trying to necessarily grind this down through the rocks. You're kind of trying to get it down, hit it, pop up, hit it, pop up, hit it, pop up, and you're just getting this little different action of kind of up and down that most crankbaits aren't going to imitate. And it does that incredibly well while maintaining the castability, because the weight transfer system, when you throw, is going to shift all the way to the back, but then when it slides forward, the weight actually sits here behind the eyes. So it's all the way in the front of the bait, which gives it that ability to kind of stay in that vertical position. It's a really fun little bait. The Power Dunk you can fish effectively, basically in that like 8 to 12 foot range is going to be ideal. If you want to go lighter line, you can get down to 14, 15 feet. So you're looking at some of the new colors here. There's a new matte flash Wakasagi, which is not something you see very often, matte and flash. Yeah. There's some new Wakasagi colors. There's some new matte shads, green craw. So some really cool options from OSP new this week in the Power Dunk. All right, staying in new colors and a lot of similar colors, same color that we just showed. Big week in Varuna Spec tubes. Okay, now this is one that we really only see once a year come through from OSP. The Spec 2 is basically the Varuna Silent. Okay, so if you think of like the 110 Silent, that's what the Spec 2 is giving you here with OSP. Now it's weighted in a certain way to where the castability stays high, but you have no internal shifting at all. You're just hearing the split ring move. If I can hold it there, there you go. No sound at all. And some really cool dope colors. So you have that matte flash again, like I was showing you, and we see a huge color addition this week. So anything from reds, we've got these super dope, like clear, transparent with kind of abalone flash colors that they haven't done in quite some time, some new Wakasagi colors. So really big week. If you guys are fishing highly pressured fish, this is a suspending jerkbait, so you can fish it on lighter line, get it down there and just give it super long pauses, and it's not going to have the sound to scare the fish away when they get really finicky. That's the Varuna Spec 2 from OSP. All right, staying in more of a finesse jerkbait realm for a minute, Jeff, the Ashura Floating is back, plus a bunch of new colors. Now the Ashura is one of our favorite finesse baits, a 92 millimeter 7.8 gram jerkbait. So it's a really finessey, kind of thin-bodied jerkbait that still has the 3 hooks on it. Okay, so this is going to be in the floating version. The floating version is going to be a great one if you need to fish a little bit more aggressively, if you need to fish shallower water, prevent the bait from getting down too deep. If you guys are fishing from shore, this would be a great option as well. You're looking at one of the new colors, a jade shad, a chartreuse belly, just a nice classic staple in their crankbait line, makes it to the Ashura. A bunch of new colors from Wakasagi colors to flashes, and of course restocks across, you know, tasty shad, pearl, that kind of stuff. So the Ashura 2 floating, those are available now from OSP. And then we also see a big restock across the board in the Durgas. I know a lot of you guys are loving the Durga, especially in the bait finesse realm. It's a 70 millimeter, 4.7 grams, super dope, small body jerk bait. All the colors are back in stock in that as well this week. All right, something that kind of goes hand in hand with smaller finessey baits from OSP is the Whip Sinker. We've been out of stock for quite some time. This is an item that we talk about a lot. You hear Griff talk about it a lot. This is one of Griff's favorite techniques, is using a Whip Sinker and then a smaller shad bait or jerk bait. It's essentially just a tungsten weight that's designed specifically for jerk bait fishing or shad type fishing. So you can twitch this, you can pull it, you can snap it, and the line's not gonna wrap around this weight. It falls right off. It's just a subtle little tweak to a tungsten weight that is actually highly effective. So all sizes return on that. If you guys have been waiting for those are back from OSP as well. All right, Jeff, another bait that we don't talk about very often because they don't make them very often, but the Bent Minnow 130 is back, plus some new colors in this guy. Now, Bent Minnow is a super cool bait, one of our best-selling, I'm gonna call it a topwater bait. Would you call it a topwater bait?
Yeah.
You could call it topwater, you could call it a jerk bait. It's a floating bait that is bent. Thus the name.
Wow. Crazy.
There's deep thoughts by Ben. Yeah. So it's just a super cool bait that essentially sits on the water like this, and depending on which angle it is, when you twitch it, so you're going to walk it like you would any other, like a jerk bait or walking topwater, it's going to move and dart the way it comes back up. So it's going to be super erratic. Sometimes it dives down, sometimes it jumps up, sometimes it goes left, cuts right, sometimes it goes back right, back left. It's a super erratic bait that catches a ton of fish. The 130 size is the largest size they make. So if you guys are fishing more open water, bigger water, this is the size you're going to want. The other sizes get a little bit small to make really long casts with. So this is a super dope size to be back in stock. So all kinds of colors from pearl to gold, you know, tasty shad. You see some new Wakasagi colors in here. There's a new black color in here. There's a new chartreuse pearl. There's all kinds of really great options in this. Just to spec it out for you so you guys know what you're looking at. Spec it. Oh, even the cool bluegill colors are back, even too. So just to spec it out, you're looking at 5 1/8 inch, so 130 millimeters, 3/4 of an ounce. So you're at 20 grams. So it's going to be similar to like a Super Spook or Kick Knocker size. Super cool bait. If you guys haven't been using it, it'd be a really fun one to add to your arsenal. Those are available now from OSP. All right, while we're on OSP, I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for specific colors to come back in soft plastics. Everything should be back now. So if you guys have been waiting on any specific colors in beavers, green pumpkin, any of the new colors, the pink, sprayed grass, all that stuff is back. We also resupplied the brand new tackle Otaku. Otaku's recipe, Otaku's candy is back in the beaver as well. So all those are back if you guys were missing any of those. Also, Dolive sticks are back in all sizes and colors. So all the key colors, again, green pumpkin, electric shads, all those are back. Dolive gills are back in all the cool colors. And then so our Dolive Craws in the 3-inch and the 4-inch, all the key colors return from OSP in plastics. All right, one final piece from OSP, if there's gonna be any of these left after our employees buy them all. The most essential piece of gear from OSP, the OSP Ear Warmer, is now available. Did you buy some of these yesterday?
I bought 10 of them.
10 of them?
Yeah, because
holy cow.
you never know, right?
So I always find these things super fun. OSP makes all kinds of cool little like crazy gadgety type things. But this is actually a really comfortable ear warmer. It really is designed for little-headed people. Jeff, it'd be perfect for you. Yeah, if you got a big head like me, not quite as good, but it almost makes it, it kind of makes it.
It's almost there.
Maybe my head is smaller than I thought.
There you go.
Oh. It is pretty big, right? Yeah, that's what she's saying. So, there you go. There is the style
Stylish,
and design. It's designed to go
look
around
good.
your. I don't know if I'm talking really loud. I can't hear anything. It is really comfortable. Griff's basically been walking around in one of these for the last 24 hours. Where is your earmuff, by the way? Oh, it's right there in his pocket. Yeah. He's carrying it. He's carrying it around. So, you know, it's. I'm wearing a jacket inside because
Right.
we don't believe in heaters here.
No.
And it's actually kind of cold by Arizona standards. It's in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
That's kind of cold
That's
for
kinda
us.
cold,
yeah.
dude.
In our warehouse, zero. Heat. Also zero air.
Yeah.
So if you need a job and you like to work in miserable conditions, hit me up here at the Hookup
We got a
Tackle.
spot for you in the back.
That's perfect back there. You'll either be dying or dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, one way or the other. I don't know why I picked up my beer, but cheers. All right, Jeff, probably the single most exciting category of all fishing has got to be jig heads, right? All right. While you sleep back there, the rest of us that actually need to catch fish are going to be excited for this one. Now, this is something that I literally, I begged owner almost a year ago to make us a batch of these.
Yep.
Okay, they're finally here.
Wow.
Okay, this is without question probably the hottest strolling jig head on the market in Japan, and one that a lot of you tournament guys know about, and they're going to scoop them up very quickly. Okay, so if you're not a tournament guy, you've never heard about this before, and you like to stroll, just trust me, you're going to want these heads. Okay. This is the Owner Cultiva range roller. Okay, now there's a bunch of different sizes. The key sizes in this, get whatever size you need, but they do make a couple sizes in a 3/0 hook. These are going to be kind of the key sizes, most popular sizes. There's an 1/8 ounce and a 3/16, right? Now, essentially what the range roller does, you can kind of see on the back of the package, the way they've built the lead around the eye, it's designed really to rock quite a bit side to side. So as you're shaking that bait, you put Sakamata shad or whatever your strolling bait is on there, and you shake it, that head really exaggerates that left to right motion on there. And you've got that great owner hook on there, super dope. Now, there's another one that's worth mentioning. This is the brand new size. This is a size 2 hook, 1/96 of an ounce. How often do you see that, Jeff? But this one, these are, the normal size ones are designed more for like mid-strolling. This one is going to be designed more as like a hover stroll. Okay, so designed with the idea that you're going to hover stroll in mind to eliminate the need of having to put a nail weight in a small bait. Okay, so it's going to come with the keeper on there. It's going to have the braided hook just like you would expect from a normal hover shot hook. But with that little tiny bit of weight, you can eliminate having to put a nail weight in there as well. It will fit in the bait the same way that a, hover shot hook would, and you've just eliminated the need for one extra piece of equipment. Just put it in there, you've got the weight to keep it upright, and you've got the nice little finesse hook to do it. So super stoked to get those, because a lot of you guys, love to hover stroll. I know it's a huge thing for Griff. So I hope you guys enjoy. I know you guys are gonna love these heads. We'll do our best to keep these in stock. This should become a core item now for owner. So if you guys get on it and you love it, we'll do our best to kind of keep a steady flow in for you guys. So there you go, the new range roller head. Well, not necessarily new. A lot of you guys know about it, but kind of the new secret range roller, plus the new size available now from Owner Japan. All right, while we're on little baits, let's talk about some new little baits from Imakatsu.
Ooh.
Okay, so we have 2 new sizes In another one of Griff's staples, the Imakatsu Huddle Swimmer, we have a new 2-inch size and a 2.4-inch size. Okay, so little tiny little guys. Okay, perfect as strolling baits. I know Griff fishes these a lot on an A-rig. You could put just a little ball head on there. They'd be great on that range roller. Okay, the Huddle Swimmer is designed to be, let's just open one of these bad boys up. You know what? Show you a couple of these new colors. There's some nice natural colors. There's some real colors in there. They've even got this kind of cool like albino pearl shad looking one. That's the one I'm gonna open. That's the one I'm gonna use. So the Huddle Swimmer is a bait that's been out for quite some time. So it's cool to see that they're expanding the color option, expanding the size option. It's a super subtle little minnow that is basically a bait fish pattern that they collabed with Huddleston on, and it has just this little Huddleston wedge tail back there. So the motion is going to be very subtle, very lifelike, like all Huddleston kind of wedge tails back there. And this is the 2-inch size, so you can see how tiny it is. So you can go 2-inch, you can go 2.4-inch. I think we still have some stock of some of the larger sizes as well. So if this is a bait that speaks to you, you find interesting, or maybe you're curious about throwing some of these small little bait fish patterns, this one would be a cool one to check out. So there you go, new colors, new sizes from Imakatsu. All right, new small little wake bait from Imakatsu, the Imakatsu Wake. Okay, so this is a cool little, let's open it up. You know, we're all suckers for wake baits.
Yep.
Yeah, you can never have enough wake baits. Let's take this bad boy out. Now, only a handful of colors in this, but there's a gold, there's a clear, there's a shad, so everything you need is pretty much here. Here you go. Tiny little dude, okay? You're gonna have a soft plastic, kind of elastomer style tail back here. It's kind of a silicone tail that does have a double hook on there that you can take off if you don't want it, but it's back there if you're getting short strikes. You have a treble hook here, and you have a blade here. So you're gonna get that blade clanking back and forth. You're gonna create a little sound, a little flash, and you're just gonna have a really nice, natural, small profile wake bait. There's been a lot of tiny little baits in this episode, hasn't there? Yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I like throwing tiny little baits like this. I'm gonna spec it out for you guys, let you guys know what you're in for. It's 70 millimeters, 3.9 grams. Okay, so it's pretty light. So this is definitely in that bait finesse territory or spinning rod territory. But if that speaks to you, if you're fishing on little tiny minnows, it could be a really, really cool one. There you go, new from Imakatsu. Okay, a couple terminal restocks to let you guys know about. Big restock and some of our favorite storage from Ryugi. So this is the single hook stalker. One of our favorite things for storing hooks, basically. So there's 4 different colors. There's khaki, there's a beige, there's a black, there's a white. If you guys are not familiar with these, this is just a really handy way to keep your hooks organized. I struggle putting my terminal in like a hard box because inevitably I spend 15 hours OCDing or making everything perfect, and then I drop that fucking thing. And then I got hooks everywhere. It drives me insane, right? So this would be the hook stalker. It's essentially just a hook wallet. It's got Velcro front, and it's got all these compartments in here, and you can just drop your hooks or your weights inside of these. I put the whole package in. So I drop the whole package in, and that way I've got one for like my drop shot stuff. So I got my couple of nose hooks, my couple of weedless, and then my drop shot weights. I got a drop shot one, I got a free rig one, I got a Texas rig one. And then that way, depending on what I'm doing, I can keep it in my pocket, I can keep it in my pack if I'm fishing from shore, or if in the boat, I can just take the one thing out and not have to lug the whole box and risk tripping or spilling it in the rod locker or anything like that. So super cool, handy hook keeper. Those are back. The R tank is back in all sizes. There's a medium, a large, and an extra large. This would be another great option for storing hooks and weights if you guys want a little bit harder box. I store all my bait finesse baits in these because they're super bomber. I mean, you can drop these and they're not gonna crack them. They also float. So if you do drop it in a stream or overboard in the pond or whatever, it's not gonna sink and all your stuff goes down. Just a really handy way that's got some really cool internal compartments. So those are dope. We also got back in the R-Tank Freeze, which are also a great way to store some of your larger baits. The XL will hold a smaller shad glide, so like the Ratchet will fit in here, a jointed claw, eye slide, something like that. You could drop a couple in there. And there's all kinds of storage options. They'll show you designs on there. So if you guys are into terminal storage, there you go. Ryugi, back in stock. All right, Jeff, let's talk about some rods and reels, and then we're gonna get to our giveaway. You ready? All right, Shimano Japan stepped up big this week. A bunch of restocks on some reels that you guys have been looking for. Let's start in the bait finesse realm. Alderbaran bait finesses are back across the board. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this to come in. Super sick reel. The only reel above it in the Shimano lineup is the Calcutta Conquest bait finesse. Those are also back in HG and XGs. Now, the Conquest bait finesse, only righties. Okay, Alderbaran, I've got you lefties and righties in there, so depending on what you want, those should be back in stock. These are the two that I use. I love these bait finesse reels. The Conquest is going to give you more of that more kind of traditional round reel, butter smooth, but you're getting the traditional styling, which is also part of bait finesse fishing. You're getting that, you know, it's highly functional, but you got all that dope fashion in there as well. So super, super cool reel. We don't get them in very often, so I expect them to fly out of here. But if you guys have been waiting on some higher end bait finesse reels, these are amazing. The Alderbaran bait finesse, in all honesty, casts just as good as the Conquest. It's just a smaller profile, lighter reel. So on some of the lighter rods, it's actually a better option. So either way you go, great options there. For you swim bait guys, Antares DC Monster Drives are back. I've got a couple lefties that are probably gonna sell out before this drops, and then I've got some righties. So if this is something that speaks to you, I would scoop them up. Jeff, you don't like this reel, do you?
I think it's cool.
Are you trying to play it low so you can buy them all before anyone else buys them? Yeah, super dope reel. You know, I am critical of a lot of Shimanos, but when I love a Shimano, there's nothing like it. So, you know, in the bait finesse realm, they just own that bait finesse realm. And in this size reel, they own this category too. So Antares DC Monster Drive, just a super sick one, is like an all-around swim bait reel. If you guys are looking for a great reel that's not too big without having to go to like a true 300 size, this is a killer one for like a shad glide rod, lighter glides, all that kind of stuff. It's just a killer reel. Yeah. So there you go. Wall supplies last. Those are in. And then for you spinning guys, I do have some of the Vanquish also. A lot of you guys have been asking for that. Kind of positioned in between a Stella and a Strata, kind of in that mid-range. So Vanquish is in 2500s and 3000s. Those are also in stock now. All right, Jeff, let's talk some rods really quick. A huge restock week plus some new models from Raid, and one of the lines that I have just really taken to. So I'm gonna run through some of these really quick. Here's a look at the new Raid. This is in the Gladiator anti-line. This is the new Sidekick. So this is a 6'7" light plus with a stinger tip, kind of designed as a kind of a mid-stroll, hover stroll type rod. You can drop shot with it. It's gonna have that stinger tip, which is becoming super, super popular with the strolling. So you can, with very little effort, you can get the little movement of the rod. What's nice about this is most of the stinger tip rods are usually shorter. They're like 6'3", 6'5". This gives you a true 6'7", so it's getting into that little bit longer realm. Just to spec it out, it's rated for 1/16 to 5/8 ounce. So this would be a great one to throw that 1/8 ounce or 3/16 range roller head on. Put a Sakamata shad or whatever your strolling bait of choice is. It's a super sick rod. So that's the new Sidekick. We also have one of our more popular rods, the Undertaker, is back. So this is a 7.5 double extra heavy, rated up to 5 ounces, designed as kind of a true swim bait rod. It is semi-parabolic at the top end and then lots of butt section down here on the bottom. So this would be a good rod for throwing like the 3 to 4 ounce type of glides in a shorter type rod. You don't have the huge butt section that you do on a traditional swim bait rod. So it's a little bit more contained. It's a little bit longer than normal, but still kind of more of a regular size length. Really popular one. Those are back. You have my staple rod. This has become like my go-to rod. I literally fish this rod like 5 days a week. This is my pond punishing rod that I use almost every night. This is the diffuser. So this is a 7.4. It's extra heavy, 1/2 to 2.5 ounces the lure rating. This is the rod that I throw my small shad glides on, my crawlers. It's got incredible versatility. So it throws a 1/2 ounce surprisingly well. It's got just enough bend here at the tip to where castability is amazing. And it's only 7.4. It has a larger butt section back here. So if you do go to like a 2 or 2.5 ounce bait, you actually have something to grip back here, so it doesn't feel like you're throwing too short of a rod, but it's a short kind of butt section, so it doesn't really get in the way. It's just one of those rods where you kind of have to use it to love it, but the Osakana slide is the bait that really kind of set this rod apart for me, and the little crawler. So those are back. I've been super stoked to get those back because I use that rod so much. The other rod that a lot of you guys have been waiting for is the Frogman. So that rod is back also. This is a 6.7 medium heavy rod, rated 1/4 to 1.5 ounce, but designed as a shorter frog rod. Okay, so it's got a nice soft tip. It kind of bends through that top third of the rod, so casting a smaller frog is easy. Walking a smaller frog is easy. Casting, you know, with braid, even a bigger frog, and it's rated to 1.25 ounces. So you could even throw, you know, gavacho, big gabba, something like that. But really, you know, close range, tight quarters. It's one of the sickest shorter frog rods on the market. So Frogman is back. There's also a new, oh, well, let me skip that. Bait Finesse Tricker is also back. So this is probably the most popular bait finesse rod in this line. It's an 1/8 to 1/4 ounce, 6.2 light. Kind of a good all-around hard bait rod. This is a super sick bait finesse option if you're looking for something outside of like the Megabass realm. Really dope one. And then a new one in the Maximum line. This is their highest end line. This is a new kind of strolling type rod, but in a casting. So a lot of guys just refuse to use spinning. I've never understood it, but hey, I don't have to understand it. Some guys like casting, some guys like spinning. If you wanted to find a great strolling rod, but in the casting realm, this is it. This is called the Max LT, okay? It's a 6.5 medium light plus with a stinger tip. Okay, so you've got a 6.5 rod, but you have that stinger tip on there. It weighs absolutely nothing. So those little movements of that head to get that bait to move left and right are super effortless with this rod. Just spec it out for you. Max lure weight is 3/8 of an ounce. And that's gonna be because of that stinger tip. They don't want to overload it. So it's going to be a great finessier soft plastic stroll rod. Those are new from Raid. All right, guys, and then to wrap up our show, as many of you that follow me on Instagram or have paid any attention to the news, Japan was rocked while I was there on the first by the largest earthquake that they have had since 2011. So I was in Tokyo during the time. It was a pretty light one where I was, but the Ishikawa prefecture, which kind of sits in the middle of the country, kind of middle north, was rocked by a 7.6. It's a pretty devastating earthquake in that area. A lot of lives lost, tsunamis, lots of homes lost. Our friends at Lucky Craft, that is their home base. Lucky Craft is based in Toyama. A lot of our friends and family and the workers at Lucky Craft are based in that area, and it's been incredibly devastating to them. I reached out to them shortly after the earthquake to see how they were doing, and fortunately, there were no lives lost within the Lucky Craft family, but their factory took a pretty devastating hit, and a lot of the people's homes were ruined. A lot of their employees and staff are still without power, still without water. we're huge fans of Lucky Craft here. It's a very special brand for me because it's kind of my introduction to the JDM world. And over the years, I've become, really good friends with the president of Lucky Craft. He's a close friend of mine, a fishing buddy of mine. And they're just great people that love to see Japanese tackle enjoyed here in the US. They're so excited every time they see a post. So I reached out to them, to make sure they're okay and to see what we could do, if there's anything we could do for them. And they just asked if we could just pray for Japan and any well wishes we have for their staff to please send it while they, get their lives back together. Now, Lucky Craft makes all of their baits there in Toyama at their own factory. They also OEM a ton of baits. So a lot of your favorite baits that are inside of your boxes from a lot of famous Japanese brands are made in that factory. So, I hope they're able to get things up to speed and back, and I hope everybody is safe. It's tough in the winter to be without power, to be without water. So supplies, a big challenge, but I want to do something. I feel almost helpless, right, when something like this happens. So this week, all week, we're gonna do a couple things. This week, all week, we are going to kind of call it Lucky Craft Week. So every morning, I'm gonna post a different Lucky Craft bait on Instagram. If any of you guys are on Instagram or Facebook and you see the post, if you feel up to commenting, sending a nice well wish to, to Lucky Craft or any of the employees at Lucky Craft, please do. It would be great to just kind of show our support. I also want to do a giveaway. Okay, so just to kind of, let Lucky Craft know that we're all thinking about them. I have put together a special box that's about $500 value, and I'm going to give it away to one of you guys. If you want to be a part of this giveaway, all you have to do is buy a Lucky Craft item between now and our next episode next week. So any Lucky Craft bait, buy your favorite bait, just let them know that you're thinking about them. This is a super cool box that I put together. So I'm just gonna kind of walk through. I'm not gonna go through everything, but of course there are some, cool custom colored Lucky Craft items in here. There's a custom White Walker Jackall Sprinker that's not going to release until the spring, so you'll be the first one to get your hands on it. There's a tiny Clash in here. There's a couple of limited edition Megabass 110s. There's a Frozen Tequila 110. There's a Nanko Reaction 110. There's a Depths Evoke 1.2 Bonaire that's out of stock. There's some custom color OSPs. There's some Evergreen Royal Flashes. There's some Duo. There's some Raid. There's some Noris. All kinds of hard baits. It's basically a huge JDM hard bait box to celebrate Lucky Craft, which is, one of our favorite JDM hard bait brands. So if you guys would like to be eligible to win this box, any Lucky Craft purchase you make for the next week, we will put you into a drawing. If you want one entry, buy one thing. If you want 10 entries, buy 10 Lucky Craft things. We'll keep track of it, and we'll do a really, really nice giveaway for Lucky Craft. Thirdly, if you would like to send a personal message to Lucky Craft or any of their staff in Japan, if you post anything on Instagram, whether it's in your feed or in your story, if you want to send them any message, just let them know that you're thinking about them, let them know you're praying for them, thank them for making such great tackle. Whatever you want to do, if you tag me, either Tackle Otaku or the Hookup Tackle USA, I will send that to Lucky Craft and they will share it with their team. I think it'd be a really cool way for a bunch of us who appreciate Lucky Craft and all that they do for this industry. I think it'd be an amazing thing to do. So if you'd like to do that, tag me in it. I will make sure it's sent to Lucky Craft and shared, and to all of my friends at Lucky Craft. Our thoughts are with you. Our prayers are with you. I hope you have, everything you need. And, here in America, we are thinking about you. Be well, my friends. All right, guys, that is a wrap for us. Jeff, favorite item of the day?
Ooh, that's a good one. Man, there was a lot of amazing things this week. I'd probably have to say the Huddle Swimmer 2-inch.
How did I know? It's not a bug bait, but it's, you know, it's
Right
tiny.
up my alley.
Which, yeah, it's right up
my
up
alley.
your alley.
That's good.
I don't know, dude. It's hard to beat that Respect
I mean,
Series color drop.
That is a good one.
That was dirty.
They should've made that
Super
color in the
stoked to
Huddle
get my
Swimmer.
rods back. Actually, I dig a lot of the things we have. I really like those new OSP colors.
Yep.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And again, to all my friends and family at Lucky Craft, Gonbare, Hokuriku, be strong. You guys got this. Cheers, my friends. I hope you have an amazing Sunday. Hug your family. Catch big fish. Drink an Orion if you can find an Orion. I'm working on it. Okay. We'll try to get more expansion. Okay. Cheers, guys. Have an amazing Sunday. We'll see you again next week. Peace, my friends. Cheers.